हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। स्वागत है आपका एक नई वीडियो में। तो आज मैं अपना इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करूंगा हाइजन कंपनी के साथ। तो मैंने अभी रिसेंटली इंटरव्यू दिया था फॉर हाइजन फॉरवर्ड डिप्लॉय इंजीनियर रोल। सो आज मैं उसका ही प्रोसेस शेयर करूंगा कि कैसे कैसे प्रोसेस हुआ था और इंटरव्यूज़ के कितने राउंड होते हैं, मुझसे क्या क्या पूछा। तो ये डिटेल वीडियो होने वाला है। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं इस वीडियो को। 3 months पहले I got laid off, so I was actually hunting for a new job. I basically was applying to various platforms during that time, and I was able to find out this post on the LinkedIn from the Heizen founder. So he posted it on the LinkedIn post regarding an opening for a forward deploy engineer role. I filled that Google Forms, shared it on the LinkedIn post itself. Then after 2 to 3 days, I got an WhatsApp message from the HR that you have to give an AI interview and basically register for them. So after having the conversation with the HR, I received the mail for the AI interview. Then I gave the AI interview. The AI interview was around 10 to 15 minutes. The interview round regarding AI was your introduction and few questions from your resume and a little bit like a designing problem of an architecture of various scenario based design questions, I would say. It was a mix of like intro plus your projects, what you have done so far, and apart from that there was some design related questions like how will you make a decision for solving this particular design problem. This interview was somewhere around 10 to 15 minutes. Then after few days I got a call from an HR that you have cleared the AI round and we want to schedule your second round of interview, which was an LLD round. So in the second round was basically for me, it was an LLD round. There the guy came and the LLD round was started. It was of 30 minutes, but it went up to 40 minutes for me. LLD round started. We met on a meet and it's basically started with the intro of the interviewer, introduced to the interviewer, and he came up with this LLD question. The question for me, it was I need to design a API rate limit manager, and we want to implement an rate limit. If you don't know about the rate limit, you can research on the Google. It's when you want to limit the number of requests to a certain API or certain route, we use rate limiting. It was not a simple rate limiting. There was some requirements like it should be based on users premium subscription. So there were different plans: basic, premium, enterprise, and the number of limit requests per user is different. Those users who pay more, they get more number of tokens to hit the API. So we need to define the API rate limiting manager, and I draw API rate limit config, and it would be based on the user type, whichever user has purchased the plan. So basically I noted the functional and non-functional requirements of this LLD design, and after that I just asked him, do I need to write an UML diagram for it or just write the flow, and how do we want to proceed with it. He said me to, as we have limited time for an LLD interview, you should proceed with however you feel like. I have taken the charge of the interview and I told that I would be writing the code, and after that, if time allows, I will draw the architecture of like a flow diagram for this what I have written. I was writing the code. I have written the code like different strategy patterns for rate limiting, and it would be also I have declared a manager for it, for a rate limiting manager, like a strategy plus manager. because there can be different rate limiting strategies. It can be token bucket, it can be fixed size window, it can be a sliding window, right? And I was writing the crux logic of it, and it's around almost 25 minutes. Paused me, and during the code writing, I had also tried to explain him. He told me not to explain him everything, just write the code for whatever time you have given, then we will discuss it in the end. So I did that. After 25 minutes, he pinged me like, your time is over. I started explaining my logic, what I have written, whatever rate limit config class I have made, whatever strategy pattern I have used, whatever manager I have used for creating dynamic objects. I started explaining them one by one, and he wanted to know about the fixed window logic in that problem what I have written. Explain that part as well, and there were few questions about scalability, how you will scale this design, what if you have multiple servers, how will you manage that. So there was just non-functional requirement questions at the end. Extensible, basically, is your system extensible enough, is it scalable, can it handle traffic. There were few questions about it, and the interview was over for me, and it was up to 40 minutes. Then after a week, I got a call from an HR that you have cleared the LLD round, we want to proceed with the another round, which would be an machine coding round. I went up there. The round was around 45 minutes to 1 hour, and it was machine coding round. They gave me a question, like the round started with again the basic intro part, and then he came up with the document he had already with him, the interviewer. So it was written like I had to design a mini Redis, and it will be in memory. Whatever Redis functions are already there, like you can delete all the keys, you can create a new key, you can increment the key, you can decrement the key. If you are not aware of what I am saying about Redis, you can Google it, like Redis methods. You will get around 8 to 9 methods which Redis class is having, and it is used for caching strategies, and it can be used further for more purposes later on. But the core was is you want to implement a caching layer at the backend. Redis is used. I need to depict all the Redis methods by writing the logic. It was actually to be a machine coding round, but it's when I'm writing this code, this feels look like to LLD to me only. And in the first LLD round, pseudo code was expected, but in this machine coding round, the working code was expected. Told me to focus on it should be also producing the output. I need to define all the methods, like I created a class name mini Redis and write a constructor. And then again I started writing all the methods and depicting it one by one. Whatever the document says, there were total 8 to 9 Redis methods, like increment, decrement, flush the keys, set the keys, and etc. So I started it, and it took me around 35 to 40 minutes for depicting all the methods. There were total 9 methods which I need to depict. Out of this, I was able to code 8 methods, and it was in working condition. The code was working. Actually, I showed him the output as well. He was happy with my performance, or he told me to share the code with him, and he will check in their test cases whatever they have. So the round was over for me. It was around 40 to 45 minutes. Then I got a call from an HR after 2 to 3 days for round 4. And round 4 was scheduled for HLD round. Actually, the HLD round, they scheduled, the guy came and the round started. The guy gave me her intro, the interviewer who is, and he told me that he has around 13 years of experience. And it was, for me, it was like the first time I was giving this LLD and HLD interviews. Yeah, I have studied a little bit, and I have studied from few videos from YouTube. They gave me a problem statement in HLD, like I need to design a multi-tenant system for Calendly. And I have heard on the internet they try to make an HLD problem out of your resume, but I am not sure it is true or not, because I have made something similar to TopMate, like a booking system, during my previous company experience. They asked me something related to booking only. For me, the question was to design a multi-tenant system for Calendly. And then when I was trying to write an functional and non-functional requirements, he told me that confronted him after writing, is it okay or do you want me to cover something else? He told me, I want you to cover something in functional requirements, but he was not giving me any hint or help. He said like wanted me to come on the user requirement on your own. After thinking, like I said, like I'm not able to come up on the requirement you are thinking. Told me forget it, let's move it further, and when you will design this, I am pretty sure you will come up with this requirement later on. And I use this platform erase.io. It is used for HLD interviews because you can just pick up the components like server, database, SQS, Lambda. You search it and you pick the component and you can just draw the diagram. It's similar to Xcali Draw. For HLD, there is the website erase.io. And the design I have created during the interview, I have attached that particular link what I have designed in that interview. You can check that in the description section. I started with the flow and everything. I was designing the component. It was a healthy discussion. We were discussing things one by one, and I focused on sending the booking, and we want to schedule a booking. I used an SQS for processing the emails in background and using the Gmail API through serverless or EC2. And we discussed about the retry mechanism of, and if your system is down, I introduced the dead letter queue. He was more interested in like how you will handle the retry mechanism. Told him regarding the exponential back off. It's a strategy you can search on the internet. When your system or third party API is failing, then you back off and you don't retry instantly. You try it after that exponential time. I was struggling a little bit over there to explain him regarding the retry mechanism when our system is down. Apart from that, then he told me not to focus much on these areas. Like I was focusing on the rate limiting of the Gmail API because there is obviously a limit when you integrate third party APIs. I was putting in more effort on explaining in the rate limiting and the retry mechanism, but he said me that we are moving out of the context too much. I want to focus on the crux of the problem. Going back again to the crux of the problem, which I was not able to come in the functional requirement, and then config database. He told me like how you will handle the bookings. I told him like the booking will be handled, let's say I can create my account myself on Calendly and I will share him the invite link to the opponent, like the user who want to book a session with me, and he will have the hash code in the query itself. Then from the hash code, I will able to identify that this user belongs to this particular booking. This was the crux of the problem, which I was not able to come up in the functional requirement itself. Like how you will handle multiple users in multiple tenants, because same users can belong to multiple tenants, right? He tried to help me and give me a hint a little bit, but he was just asking me a question. So I should come up to that particular problem or the crux of the problem, like how multiple users can book multiple bookings. Earlier I was thinking to create an array in database for that particular user, but that was not going to help, because if someone asks you the analytics data, like give me the user that has been booked by, like give me the booking of that particular user, how many session he had booked, I wouldn't be able to provide the data by querying, because I have stored the all tenants, like all tenant array as in data that user belong to. So was the core problem. So use this URL strategy where we use the URL, and like I created an account first. He told me to focus on the user journey from scratch, then you will able to come up with the right solution. Started like I registered my account and created my invite link, and I will share this invite link to another users, like you can book a session with me for on Calendly. I told him like on that particular hash code we will have some encrypted key in the URL itself. Whenever user will book a session, it belongs to that particular user who has shared the URL, and we will be able to identify this booking belongs to which user and which user has booked the session. At the end, he told me, yeah, this was the crux of the problem. I wanted you to come on this approach. Overall, I would say my round went well, around 70 to 80%. But the next day, I got an email from an HR that I am that I am not selected for round 4. Like, you are not able to clear the HLD round. It was very hard to process for me because I was expecting a positive response because there were two hiccups I did, not able to come up on the functional requirement properly. And the second, I was struggling to explain him the retry mechanism like dead letter queue and exponential backoff properly. I know what mistakes I did, but still I was expecting a positive response if I look an overall of the interview performance. But I don't know, maybe they want a perfect candidate, or it's not the day for me, I would say. If I got selected in that round, then there would be a final round with CEO or CTO or co-founder, whatever it is. I have searched this on GPT, but sadly I was got rejected in round 4 in HLD round at Heizen. I would say you should prepare this round very in depth. They will deep dive into HLD parts and components, and they will provide too much hint during the interview. They want you to struggle and come up with the approaches and the components itself. Yeah, that's it. Also, it's a startup company, Heizen. They have also been to Shark Tank India as well. You can watch that episode on YouTube by searching Heizen Shark Tank. Apart from that, when in the first 2-3 rounds when I gave, at the end it's a company process, every company do it. Like, they asked, do you have any question for us? I asked about the roles and responsibilities and expectation. So from first few rounds, they told me, if you are looking something regular like 9 to 5, you think you will start your day at 9 and you will end at 5. Not really work like that here. They were, if you are coming from a hustling mindset, then you should join us. If you are looking something regular, like you should come to office or join remotely at 9 and log out at 5, that won't work here. And in Shark Tank episode also, I observed this thing, like they said for one project they are having 0.9% of resource. Each individual is handling one project single-handedly. And in forward deploy engineer, it is expected, obviously, but I also read few reviews at Ambition Box, like the work-life balance is majorly a problem. I'm not complaining though, it's up to you.